Hey everybody, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. What a wild 24 to 48 hours it was for me, guys. The market is tanking, and then YouTube decided to delete my channel. But thank you to all of you that tweeted, emailed, messaged, and we're going after YouTube on Twitter. You helped get my channel restored. YouTube said it was an accident, but thank you guys so much. Much love. Certainly couldn't have gotten my channel back without you guys' support. So thank you. I appreciate all of you. So thankfully we're back, and I want to talk about the market. I've kind of changed my stance on Bitcoin because we broke the $40,000 support level, and I'm a little bit bearish on Bitcoin. So I want to give my reasons and the facts behind that. And if Bitcoin is now headed into a bear market, it's essentially completed its peak. That means an alt season should be coming very soon, and where the majority of the money is made, unless you're holding like 1,000 Bitcoin or something, or you're holding 100 Bitcoin, right? But most people are not. Most people have a lot of altcoins, whether it be XRP, Cardano, Litecoin, whatever it is, you throw it in there. And I do believe an alt season is still coming. And I want to share what some of the analysts are saying and different charts and different factors. And I also want to talk about, give another scenario. Is this bull market entirely over? That, after the alt season and that's it, it's a wrap, the music stops. Well, I'm not entirely sure, guys, because there's been a high correlation between crypto and the stock market. And we've seen stocks are correcting right now, but we know that's not going to last very long. The Fed and how the government works now, if they let it go down enough and they raise rates and so forth, that's going to damage the economy because it's so tied in together now with the Fed doing quantitative easing, and they're buying assets and securities and so forth. Anyway, I want to break all of that down, give you guys different scenarios, and of course, give you a factual breakdown, not emotions and feelings, right? So before we get there, guys, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button. If you're new here, it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. If you're listening on a podcast site, please give me 5 stars. This video is brought to you by Algorand, which is building the future of finance. Algorand is one of the leading blockchain projects in the crypto industry. They're getting significant adoption and investments. And if you'd like to learn more about Algorand, please visit algorand.com. Now, if we take a look at the crypto market cap here, Bitcoin is just over $35,400, Ethereum just over $2,400. We have Cardano just at $1.08, Solana just over $95, XRP at 61 cents. So not looking great. Obviously, we pulled back significantly. And if we look at the Bitcoin weekly chart here, we're about to close the week on a giant red candle. Wow. Now, I was hoping Bitcoin would not go below the $40,000 support level. So I'm turning a bit bearish here. I don't know what Bitcoin's about to do. And I'm being honest because, I was looking at different models. I was tracking different metrics, and I was hoping Bitcoin would build a support there. Now, it could flip next week. I don't know. I think at this point we have to wait. But right now, the size of this red candle has me worried, turning a bit bearish, that Bitcoin has maybe hit its peak at 69,000 and the show is over for Bitcoin. And now alt season will start. And, some other metrics that are showing this is, for example, this headline: Bitcoin price falls to $34,000 as the Bitcoin RSI reaches most oversold since March 2020 crash. So, wow. And the March 2020 crash was epic in a bad way. Of course, it was blood on the streets. So with that said, guys, the March 2020 crash, that was not bearish because we knew we were in a upward trend, in a cycle to go upwards, right? Because the Bitcoin halving had was about to take place and all that stuff. And we went upwards from there. So that was the beginning of the bull cycle. Here, this is very bearish in my opinion, because one could argue this is the end of this Bitcoin cycle because we've hit 2 peaks. Now, I was thinking that this 40,000 support level would allow us to go upwards, but now I'm not sure. And I'm being candid with you guys, being honest. And obviously, none of this is financial or investment advice. This is just from my own research and my thesis. I highly recommend you guys do your own research as well and use multiple points of data, not just from me, but other analysts as well. So what we've seen historically, though, is once Bitcoin has hit its peak and corrected, heading into a bear market trend, alts start to pop off. Now, one thing that's important to note is that Bitcoin, excuse me, can bounce up here and have a retracement. And my plan is to take some profits. Obviously, I would have loved to take profits at 90,000, 100,000, but that is not looking like it's going to happen. But as I've stated many times, I'm still holding some crypto long term. Like there's Bitcoin I have locked up in lending and in my hard wallet, and I'm not selling that, right? I'm just holding that forever. Probably hand it over to my daughter or whatever it is. So Bitcoin may see a retracement, maybe back up to 54,000 or 55 before heading back down and continuing its bear market downward trend. But we will have to wait and see what happens. At this point, it is a wait and see what happens. But I'm going to start taking profits at the top of that retracement. So even if it just stops at 48,000, I'm taking some profits, guys. So just giving you some candid, telling you exactly what I'm going to do. Now, unless something changes and Bitcoin flips bullish over the next couple of weeks, but right now that is not looking likely. Now, something that Raoul Pal had to say, and it's really the macro level view. He's a macro investor, so that's why I'm very much in alignment with this, because I'm holding, like I said before, crypto for the long term. Yes, I'm taking profits now because I'm here to make money. I have plans to pay off debt and do certain things with the money, business, yada, yada. But Raoul shared some great thoughts, and it's on point. He said, remember how hard it was to hold Amazon? This was post-recovery when rates threatened to rise back in 2010. So Amazon certainly saw a massive fall back in price, and it was certainly difficult to hold it. So Raoul continues saying, and here's the Bitcoin post-recovery when rates threatened to rise. So very similar pattern in the charts, right? You look at this and it's like, wow. So he's saying here, he says, I personally think there is a lot to learn from Amazon and how it's traded as it gained network effects. So this is Metcalfe's law. In the end, network effects models are encapsulated by their log trends and regression channels, along with the 48-month exponential moving average for Bitcoin. All else is noise. So we will have to see. What he's saying here in principle absolutely makes sense. Macro level, I don't think you can go wrong with it. Whether the price rebounds in the short term, I don't think, we don't know if that will happen, but long term, absolutely will. I've lived through the previous bull market, bear market, and now the price is at a new all-time high. And to give you context, I've been accumulating since 2016, and I bought a lot in the bear market between 2018 to 2020. So I'm up significantly. I want to make sure you guys understand that. Now, if you bought Bitcoin at 60,000, unfortunately, you're probably going to have to wait for the price to go back up. And, maybe that might be a few years, just being realistic, right? But many of you know, I've been here a long time, started my channel in 2017. So I've been accumulating. I am up right now. If I sold, I will be in great profits. Obviously, I was hoping for higher profits, just being transparent with you guys. But, for Bitcoin, at least, that may not happen. I do think for the altcoins, it will. And here's just a great chart, the Bitcoin rainbow chart. And you can see rainbow price chart, excuse me. And the color codes really highlight, we're in the maximum bubble territory, in the phase where you should sell, where FOMO intensifies. Is this a bubble, hodl, still cheap, accumulate, and buy? Technically, we are in a still cheap area, but very risky because Bitcoin is in a downtrend. We'll just have to see what happens. I don't know how this thing is playing out right now because obviously it's not moving nearly as close. Obviously, it shouldn't be an exact copy, but not as close as it was to how it played out historically. That's why taking some profits, still holding some, and waiting to see what happens. Now, let's take a look at the S&P 500 index here. You may say, why are you showing us the stock market chart? Well, here's the thing, guys, and I'm sure many of you have read about it. The stock market and crypto have been highly correlated, moving very similarly. I don't know what to make of it. It could be the Fed as a whole is doing quantitative easing on crypto as well. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But one thing I know, guys, if they raise rates and significantly, I think they will bump up rates a little bit, but not enough to hurt asset prices because of how tied the stock market is to the economy. If they raise it, they will destroy the economy. Many of you who study these things understand quantitative easing and monetary policy know this. So this correction here is happening, okay? I think it will bounce back up. I think the Fed's going to continue to print money, buy securities, assets, and so forth, continue the quantitative easing on steroids because this is an election year with some of these folks. So we're going to have to see how this thing plays out. With that said, I tweeted about this, the correlation, and one thing I highlighted, Nancy Pelosi, who obviously has some huge insider trading information. Some articles are being highlighted here of her big bets on tech stocks in 2022. So the fact that through her husband, they're making these big bets in Alphabet, which is Google, Disney, Roblox, Salesforce, and Micron Technology is very interesting. It's a bit telling. Obviously, it's not guaranteed that, look, things are going to continue to pump. Nothing is guaranteed, but this is a strong piece of evidence. Many of you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of, documentation of her stocks performing really well. And we know when the pandemic happened, well, before it happened, a lot of the folks in Congress who had insider information about what's to come, both Democrats and Republicans, sold their stocks off. It was a big controversy, obviously. So does Nancy Pelosi know something we don't, that this thing is just good, the music's going to continue? I would put my money on that, guys. I would put my money on it based on what we've seen so far. So macro level, though, for Bitcoin, I still think we're on track. Benjamin Cohen of Enter the Cryptoverse shared the following chart today saying, still seems like Bitcoin, the logarithmic regression is the best model for Bitcoin. And still, I still can't believe we didn't hit that peak. Maybe we still will, but right now things look very bearish. So we'll just have to be patient and wait to see what happens. But here's the breakdown I wanted to share with you guys with regards to Altseason. So BTC Fuel did an amazing thread here on Twitter saying, who's ready for an insane Altseason? A short thread about how Bitcoin is right now setting up for a historic Altseason and second part of the cycle. He says, most people do not realize Bitcoin is still very early in its cycle compared to the last cycle. Crypto is now between what I called wave 2 and 3. Wave 3 in 2017 happened in the spring of 2017 with an insane alt season and alts outperforming Bitcoin. So this is what I keep referring to you guys who are not here. I was part of this and witnessed incredible gains, like for example, XRP and Ethereum. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty epic. I wish I had listened to my friend and bought more, but you live and you learn. And like I said, right now I'm up significantly, like way more than I was in 2017. So I'm thankful for that. I'm not complaining, but obviously I was expecting higher prices. Anyway, he continues here saying, I believe the low volume is an indication of silence before the storm. So looking at the alts chart here, very low volume for alts. And he thinks there's still more to go here and that alts will outperform Bitcoin, which we've seen happen in previous bull runs. He said it looks like Ethereum is confirming this with an almost exact cycle setup as previous cycle, preparing for a huge alt season. So Ethereum also setting the stage for what looks like a huge breakout upwards with the RSI down at an all-time low as well. He continues here saying the others chart, which are the top 125 alts, except from Bitcoin and Ethereum and some top alts, it just did an important retest. This is the alt season trigger. This dip is just a higher low in an uptrend for alts. I absolutely believe this. My question goes back to, is Bitcoin done? I do believe there will be a retracement, but maybe he's right. Or maybe Bitcoin, once again, this cycle doesn't have to repeat exactly like it did before. Maybe Bitcoin still has a run up to 6 figures. Who knows? But obviously the data, the trends, the analytics are telling us that there's a lot of retesting here and there's room to keep going. So let's continue here. It says the others dominance chart also shows a breakout retest, resistance turning support. This alt season will be about the bulk of alts outperforming ETH and Bitcoin. I like that. You guys know I have Algorand, I have XRP, I have Cardano. I've got a bunch of alts, even from ones in 2017. I still got some Litecoin. So I don't mind as long as I'm making money. I don't have any partiality to this specific crypto or that specific crypto. Sure, I wanted Bitcoin to hit $100,000 because I hit it. I have it in my portfolio, so I'm looking to make money across the board. But like I said, I'll take some profits of Bitcoin. It hits 50K again and over, I'll be taking some profits. He says, I think ETH is parabolic against Bitcoin. That's an interesting theory there. He says, I believe the flippening could happen. Wow. This could be close to the peak of this alt season. I see the possibility that alts will start correcting and Bitcoin will go for its final leg. And where most altcoins only dead cat bounce in Bitcoin's final leg. Not sure though. So once again, this is a thesis. Doesn't mean it's exactly going to happen this way. I think it's a strong thesis of the likelihood of it happening. And he's saying the alt season can happen now. Bitcoin is in its corrective phase, but then Bitcoin will pick up the momentum from alts, once alts are hitting their peak later this year and moon to maybe 6 figures. I don't know. I hope it happens, right? Once again, I'm here to make money like many of you. He says the dot-com bubble peak was 7 years after the www launch. Ethereum was launched the 30th of July, 2015. 7 years later would be the 30th of July, 2022. I believe the alt season could extend into September to November because of parabolic bases in ETH BTC chart and ETH temporary dominant. He says the dot-com bubble was about $6 trillion. Adjusted for inflation, this would be $10 to $20 trillion nowadays. The big difference now is that buying stock/crypto is way easier. You can even do it from a phone yourself. He says, for now, I think Bitcoin has almost bottomed out. This is where I think Bitcoin is in its dip. I believe Bitcoin will recover quicker than most people think right now. And he highlighted a V-shaped recovery here. He says, it looks like this dip is the trigger for the next big run, just like the March 2020 crash, when lots of people thought the bear market had started. Now, there is some validity to this because when the market flips one way, right, you always want to do the contrarian move to it. So, when it's euphoria and everybody's happy and it's going crazy, that's when you want to be fearful. You want to sell, right? When it's in its downward trend and people are scared, the Bitcoin greed and fear index is at a 10 and everybody's scared, like, oh no, it's over, the party's over, right? That's where contrarian, you want to be buying and accumulating. Even if the bull run is not going to pop off this year, still, this is a great accumulation time, and you dollar cost average, of course. So we will have to see if this thing plays out like this. He says higher time frame RSI, which is the relative strength index, is now on support. Bitcoin looks very similar to the Dow Jones. Good times ahead. We shall see, BTC Fuel. I hope so, my friend. I certainly hope so. And once again, like I shared with you guys earlier here with the Nancy Pelosi stock picks, and also a macro level that the Fed, the Fed is really trying to protect the stock market. And obviously we're seeing a high correlation with the stock market. So could we see all assets pump again this year? It's certainly possible, guys. And once again, all these things lining up with crypto, we will have to wait and see. But like I said, in summary, I'm expecting an alt season. Bitcoin right now is done. I'm going to take some profits, once it retraces and hits another smaller peak, not a new all-time high. And then I'm going to wait for alt season to pop off and take profits there, obviously, right? And if Bitcoin does eventually do what this guy is saying, and it captures the alt season momentum and goes for a final leg, I'll still have some Bitcoin waiting to take profits there. So that's my plan. And obviously the key word is patience. These are trying times, even for someone like myself who's gone through a bull market, a bear market, because it's just a lot of uncertainty. You just don't know what's up ahead. But obviously, we'll look at some facts like we did today and make our decisions from there. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you agree with this, leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.